and let's do this. To set the stage, we're going to accelerate your business right now. AI are all top of mind with my customers. And what's the common denominator? Data. It's the foundation for everything that drives today's business. So without further ado, Sandeep, share the good news.
Hi guys, presented Gen AI powered data origins conference.
Dominica, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone. As Dominica just mentioned, data, cloud, and AI are key ingredients in your business today. These three factors are challenging organizations across every industry to rethink their IT plans. At NetApp, we are laser focused on delivering intelligent data infrastructure that enables your business not only to master your data, cloud, and AI challenges, but to build future-proof IT for what comes next. In the 18 months that I've led enterprise storage at NetApp, I have met with hundreds of customers to hear about the issues they face. Like many of you, these are customers seeking to protect their apps and data from ransomware while achieving the lowest cost of data over its lifecycle. They want to harness the power of cloud and AI while simplifying operations and eliminating complexity. And they need to do all this while increasing efficiency and productivity, addressing skill gaps, and meeting sustainability goals. At NetApp, we have been continuously investing in intelligent data infrastructure to solve these challenges, extending a 3-decade record of innovative leadership in enterprise storage. To take just 2 recent examples. Last year, we introduced Capacity Flash with the NetApp AFF C-Series, enabling customers to get denser, faster, and more sustainable, and to do so affordably. We're talking about all-flash speed and efficiency combined with the economics of hybrid storage. Next, we unveiled block-optimized storage with the NetApp ASA A and C series, so customers can modernize their block environments to all-flash performance at the price of hybrid. These arrays deliver unmatched savings and sustainability. In an IT world now defined by hybrid cloud, diverse workloads, and distributed data, what continues to differentiate our products from anyone else is our unified data storage. With NetApp Unified Data Storage, you are free to run any data type, any app workload seamlessly across on-premises and cloud via a single OS, NetApp ONTAP. That unified management experience provides an ease of use and efficiency that eliminates infrastructure silos and data bottlenecks. It's truly simplicity at scale, and it's something that no other storage vendor can match. So, we've led the industry with unified data storage, but our innovation hasn't stopped there. And today, we're upping the innovation ante with our next major advance in unified data storage. It's my pleasure to announce new hyper-efficient, high-performance NetApp AFF A-Series storage that enables you to build your AI-ready ecosystem alongside everything you're running today. This is unified data storage built for the AI era, and these products completely reset the bar for what enterprise storage is capable of. Let's take a look. Meet the new NetApp AFF A70, A90, A1K. Powerful, intelligent, and secure. Our new AFF A-Series solutions deliver the advanced data management, industry-leading ransomware protection, and seamless cloud integration that Gen AI and other modern workloads demand. 3 key advantages to emphasize here. 1, NetApp AFF A-Series is super powerful and capable of massive scale. With up to 40 million IOPS, 1 terabyte per second of throughput, and proven 6 nines data availability, they'll easily power the mission-critical workloads that drive your business today, as well as the AI and Gen AI workloads that will unlock innovation and productivity for your organization tomorrow. And because it's unified data storage, NetApp AFF A-Series delivers unmatched opportunities for consolidation. That includes any app workload and any data type, structured or unstructured, across hybrid cloud. So now you can optimize your VMware environment and accelerate your SAP and Oracle apps, even as you seize your AI advances. 2, NetApp AFF A-Series is your data foundation for enterprise AI. By leveraging data-driven intelligence and a single storage OS, you can effortlessly manage, protect, and mobilize data at lowest cost across your hybrid cloud. Accelerate the entire enterprise with AIOps-based automation, intuitive multi-cloud control, the industry's richest data services suite, and deep integrations with NVIDIA and the entire MLOps ecosystem. 3, this is the most secure storage on the planet. In fact, NetApp has the only hardened enterprise storage validated for top secret data. NetApp AFF A-Series delivers built-in real-time ransomware detection designed for better than 99% accuracy. An industry first. Also built in are guaranteed data recovery with end-to-end orchestration and business continuity that ensures you stay up and running even during the site failure. And NetApp AFF A-Series is unified data storage built for the AI era. It's intelligent data infrastructure that enables you to architect for the future while powering all your workloads today. Like the rest of the NetApp portfolio, the new AFF A-Series systems are available via traditional CapEx or as a service with NetApp Keystone. So, the operational flexibility we just discussed is mirrored by financial flexibility that enables organizations to align IT expenditure to business needs. Have a look at the power, intelligence, and security of the NetApp AFF A-Series.
It's all about data, AI, mission-critical applications, ransomware protection. Data is at the heart of everything, which is why it's so important to manage it, protect it, and use it to bring dazzling new insights to life. It's time to take your data and business to the next level. The new NetApp AFF A-Series, powerful, intelligent, secure. Turbocharging the workloads that make your business work? Check. Turning AI and Gen AI opportunities into reality with data-driven intelligence and future-proof infrastructure? Check. Keeping your data safe with your secure storage on the plan so you can sleep at night? Absolutely. All made possible with the same new NetApp. Trusted by the world's biggest companies and largest public clouds. And 1 terabyte per second supports blocks, files, and objects seamlessly integrated across hybrid. Built-in real-time ransomware detection designed for industry-first 99% plus accuracy. The new NetApp AFF A-Series, unified data storage built for the AI era.
As Sandeep just described, these new AFF A-Series products are super exciting. They've expanded the capabilities of our intelligent data infrastructure portfolio while delivering all the advantages of unified data storage and empowering customers to be AI ready. This is fantastic. Sandeep also mentioned some cutting-edge ransomware detection capabilities, and I know ransomware today is top of mind for every customer. We're going to check in with John Shirley for more on how NetApp delivers the highest level of data security. Over to you, John.
Thanks, Dominica. You're absolutely right. Ransomware is an ever-present threat these days, It's no longer a question of if, but simply a question of when. And when
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, I see more of gentlemen in the room. So, very warm welcome to all of you, and welcome to Gen AI Data Horizon Secure and Scale with NetApp, AWS, and Hitachi. We are calling this the Power of Three Cities, and we are delighted to have all of you join us for this conversation today. So, what we are looking at today is, having these insights and strategies and conversations with some use cases also sprinkled in, to let you all know that what are the challenges that everybody of you who's present in the room is generally facing, looking at your cloud and data modernization journey. So as we have been saying that air, water, and two essential data was added to it, and I think slowly even AI is getting added to that list now. So to officially start the conversations today, I have with us Arpit from NetApp. Arpit is the national, sorry, I'm so sorry, my bad, this one. So we have Ramnik, sorry, my bad, just give me.
okay.
Yes. I think I can just introduce Arpit. Arpit from Hitachi is the national sales lead, and he will be talking about what Hitachi has been doing with AWS and NetApp as partners and what is their solution that they are taking to the customers. Arpit, over to you, please. I'm sorry for the FOMA.
Hi, good evening everyone. I just have a quick introduction of myself. My name is Arpit Trivedi. I'm part of Hitachi Systems. I manage North Enterprise business with my colleague Shakun San, and I also manage cloud business for Pan India. I think most of you are traveling a lot these days. When we go to airport, I think when we are carrying a check-in baggage, I think things have become quite convenient and easy for us. Any particular reason why it is taking less time for us from main gate to go to the gate where there is? India, correct. So I think wherever we go, Hitachi will find at most of the places. In India, Hitachi has 37 group companies. Hitachi Systems is part of Hitachi Systems is part of Hitachi Digital System and Services. That's a company which we represent. We have close to 3,68,000 employees globally. We are there in 100 plus countries. Hitachi Systems India is a 100% subsidiary of Hitachi Systems Japan. We have 10 plus offices in India with close to 3,000 employees. And our business diversification is into infrastructure, cloud, security, APM, and if I become irrelevant if I don't talk about AI and Gen AI these days. So that's a new business addition which we add in our portfolio. From an industry vertical perspective, we are pretty strong in public sector, enterprise, and when we go to West, pretty strong in the BFSI sector, and manufacturing in Pune, Chennai. This is some of the allocates which we have across our partner ecosystem during last few years. This again some industry recognitions. This is our cloud service offerings wherein we start with consulting services. We have migration services, managed services, app modernization, and cloud security. I think one of the reasons wherein when customer moves to cloud, security becomes paramount. And I think without all these services, a partner cannot coexist with all the cloud partners. That's where we are there in most of the services which are there. This is our partnership with NetApp. We are a prestige level partner with the highest in India for NetApp. And it comes with lots of efforts around technical deployments, the certifications. These are some of the services for which we are certified for NetApp. And these are some of the skills and competencies, wherein is cloud data modernization with AWS, multi-hybrid with VMware. These are some of the key capabilities which we have on digital front. This is our partnership with AWS. We are advanced tier partner for AWS to highlight the distance to NetApp. I think we are, from a competency perspective, we are storage consulting competency with NetApp. We have close to 500 projects which are delivered by the research and delivery team of AWS NetApp. These are some of the key logos which we have across India, which is across verticals, ITITS, BFSI, government, PSU, retail and healthcare, manufacturing, logistics. I think that's it from our side. I will not like to take the limelight from AWS and NetApp. So over. Thank you.
Outside again for everybody, please a loud round of applause for Arvind. So thank you for keeping it so short and sweet, Arvind. We will move on to the next discussion being presented by Ramneek Sethi, Manager Solutions Engineering, to deep dive into enterprise cloud storage and Amazon FSx for NetApp ONTAP. Please welcome Ramneek Sethi, Managing Solutions Engineering. Ramneek is a leading team of solution engineers dedicated to help public sector customers and partners architect secure, resilient, and highly available data environments across the hybrid cloud environment. Over to you, Ramneek, please.
Good evening, Upam audio. Yeah, thanks for coming over. So, small introduction. I look after the solution engineering team for the public sector. So I work closely with the public customer to design the solutions. So, today's topic on that for the public cloud. So, before I start talking, IDCS wrote a report. You can scan this QR code and look at what is the value that we add. So it wrote about the enterprise features that we have. Scan this code and so FSx is the first party service AWS Cloud. Before that, we had a product called CDO, Cloud Volume ONTAP, that's what the marketplace was. And with that, AWS saw the goodness of ONTAP. They saw the kind of value we add for their overall stack. So they adopted it as a first party service. Right now, you can provision is using the same portal that we use for any cloud service. It can be a single AZ deployment or a multi-AZ deployment. You can get whatever performance you may need, and the latency can be very, very sustained. Besides that, we add a lot of value in the terms of enterprise features like snapshot, clones. It's very, very simple to take snapshot and recover them. We will talk about some advanced features in the network security. And then the biggest advantage that we offer to you is that we help you reduce your like the efficiency in terms of data reduction and the maintenance, right? I have a visualization on that you understand that. And beyond that, we offer multi-protocol support. So FSx being the core of for the storage of the cloud, we add all the capabilities, be it efficiency or protocol or the management piece. We give all of these capabilities in the public cloud and how they are deployed. We'll talk about that in today's session. So this is one comparison between some of the other services like EFS or for Windows with our service. You will see there are some unique points that are offered fully by FSx. For example, if you need multi-protocol access, let's say you want to make Linux and Windows clients for the same set of data, that is only offered by. Besides that, you need cross-region replication, that you will replicate data from south to west or west to south. So that is like we make it possible to do. And it's very, very simple to manage. These are some of the examples. I'm not sure if some of you are already using our storages in your data center. These are the integrations with the other components of ONTAP stack. For example, if you need to replicate data from on-premise to the public cloud, you will just replicate the way you will replicate across two data centers. Recently, there was a customer who was migrated from 800 terabyte of data from, it was a public sector, I cannot name it. So they have to migrate their data from an on-premise environment to the AWS environment. And while initially they were trying different methods, but they got stuck in some of the data. So they came to us. We just set up a replication from on-premise to AWS, and the data was migrated. They are right now running their environment in AWS. They will be possible replication. So that's a classic example. Unfortunately, it's not a public case study, right? But that is what we have achieved. Besides that, if you have your data, let's say in AWS, and your clients are sitting in on-premise environment and they need a faster access to the data, we can cache the data and make it easily available to them. While the main copy of the data is still in SSH, but you can access that faster in the on-premise environment. Or you may also have a situation where your data is actually residing in on-premise, but you need to access the data in the cloud. So we can make that possible with the integrated side. So this is a very simple way to understand what is multi-protocol. Let's say there is a data set which should be accessed concurrently by Windows and Linux. So that is not possible with the native services that we find in AWS. So we make it possible to have this kind of use. Beyond that, when I said cost optimization, so we are talking about simple volumes. Then we talk volumes or file volumes. Always in any environment, you don't have volumes fulfill some free space in all the volumes, right? You provision for like 1 year or 5 years. Your initial year, your consumption will be like 20%, 30%, 40%. And all the volumes will have these. So what we do? We give you 10 provisioning in that. So this alone can be a huge advantage to some of your environment. You can grow the environment as you add data. These features were there in the on-premise environment for like 10 to 15 years. But like we emphasize from AWS, they should feature space. And you will not find any other services to use them for anything. Number two, we can reduce the data materialization. We can further reduce the time. And that is not all. You can go for tiering. You can set up tiering where you can just set a policy that data not accessed for 30 days or 60 days or whatever, up to 180 days. Data which is not read or written for 30 days could go to SP. Just set the policy, data will automatically go there. By doing all of this, you can use your cost big time. This is a very simple comparison of 2015 data with the other services available. You can cut down your cost big time. While you will get a lot of additional features that like snapshots are very, very simple to use. Replications, probably replication, it's very simple. There are some security features that I'm going to talk about. So NetApp Snaplog, it started as a bomb double connection for your file data, but we have gone further. So Snaplog is to lock the data for the predefined data. I'm not sure if some of you are having data which has to be stored to 7 years for compliance section. Like a lot of public sector, I come across many departments who have to store data forever. Like, how do you ensure the data is not getting modified? Nobody is deleting the data. How can you do that? You will log the data. You see where not even the administrator, like you see compliance code enterprise. In compliance code, not even the administrator can create the data. He or she cannot reduce the tenure. Let's say retention period is 5 years. He cannot reduce by 1 day. In enterprise mode, administrator can actually reduce the time, but in a compliance mode, wherever you have data which is very sensitive, the data cannot be deleted for the predefined. So this is what we do. There is a new feature that we introduced this month only, which is, I want to have a slide for that. That is auto ransomware protection. So we have been giving auto ransomware protection to you in your on-premise environment for a long time, but this month only we have introduced this feature in the AWS cloud. So in anti-ransomware protection solution, we have the capability to identify the attack. So we can identify the attack without your intervention. We can take a snapshot, which is a beautiful snap, and you can always recover from that, and we'll report the attack to you. We'll give it back to you. There's an agency in US called AWS. They did a test on our IP, and they came up with a report which you can always find. AWS ransomware protection attack. If you Google that, you'll find that. They mentioned that we are 100% time. We were not reporting any false positives. Always when we were reporting there was an attack, was a genuine attack. So they tested us for multiple type of attacks, and 99% attacks we were able to identify and take a copy, and we could minimize your data loss. So that feature is now available. These are some of the standard where SnapLock is applying to. Some of you who might be working might have to. So our storage can be consumed by different cloud services, containers, Kubernetes. You can use it. If you have enterprise workload like databases, you can very well use it. So here are some of the capabilities that we offer you for the database environment. Like we can give you consistent like that is what we can offer. Efficiency, databases, we can give you around 2 to 3x data reduction, so your footprint will reduce. Right? Besides that, if you have to refresh your databases, you can take snapshot of the database and refresh times or upgrades. It becomes very, very easy. You can back up using the same snapshot easily. So we add a lot of value in terms of optimizing the database environment. So this is one case study. So this customer wants to run SQL in a failover cluster environment where you need a shared storage, right? So with iSCSI, we can offer the shared storage to these VMs, and we could do cross-region replication for this customer. We offered a lot of efficiency by reducing the data. So these are some of the environments where you can look at using FSx as a product. So that slide that I showed in between, where I shown then provisioning, there are deduplication, compression, and then sharing. That can reduce your cost, and these are the services that we grant here in market. So I'm available for you to my time. Thank you.
My question is snapshot.
Okay.
Snapshot usually available in the cloud or maybe the on-prem.
Whatever I
Somebody is looking for the on-prem or on-prem.
they're also available.
That is done.
Yeah, so what we have done with that is that we have taken the goodness that we had in the on-premise environment, we have taken the cloud. Like, for the last many years, we were like 2012 when NetApp started entering into the public cloud. So we saw customers were trying to put their workloads in the cloud, and they were moving there. And there were other OEMs who were saying like that's not the right thing, but we took the path. Like if customers are doing that, we should also do it. We have a half a billion of business in the cloud.
But the industry is moving very slow, very intermediate to moving to the cloud. Some of the companies existing storage on-prem.
Right.
Majority of them, but if you go to the priority is the on-prem as of the mentality or maturity of this thing. But 50 billions are almost 60% company and on-prem. and 40% and 35% is cloud work. Rest, we are companies trying to move to the cloud, but still that some of the challenges, some of the data production, some of the other maturity living is required. But the one of the feature is value somewhere, and some of the diagram data production. This is available in the on-prem.
Yes, actually,
How to control the snapshot on-prem. So basically, if you put that storage on-prem, it would be not available on the internet. It is purely
no,
on-prem.
no. So for ARP, we are running, ARP is running on the controller of the storage in the on-premise environment. So it's not running on a SaaS service. It was running in the controllers. Even if it is running on a VM outside the storage, I take it as a risk. Somebody just switches off that machine, he's not able to get the protection. So, we offer these capabilities in the on-premise environment for sure, and we have taken them to
The NetApp is, take the responsibility with the no attacks.
yeah, we will, this SE lab, we can share the report. We could stop up to 99% of the attacks. They created hundreds of attacks. Their reports is 99% attacks.
And one of the challenges is migration. So maybe the migration is we have, maybe someone has HP storage, Dell storage, and some of the deduplication can be made. And the migration is possible the same data.
Yeah, not the same. Like even we are using open standards, like protocols that I mentioned, they're all open source. Even if you are using a non-NetApp project, if you want a hybrid cloud, our PS can help you migrate from that environment to that project.
That's why I am asking you between a RP phase and a challenge about the migration. Migration is maybe not on the same technology, same maybe other technology.
Yeah. I think we can discuss, if you have a scenario, we can discuss that.
Thank you, sir. Yes, yes.
Right. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. There is
visible on the screen. There is no mark that can be stored or delete or whatever. Like we are doing the archival. For the past history data, we are doing only the archival history data. Only for the audit of doing purpose. It's not a final data. So how do you change that? What is the procedure? How do you change the matter?
So there is a standard called SEC17A for the security and exchange law. So they create the requirement that there is some compliance data which has to be retained. In addition to that, there were departments like Department of Justice. They had a requirement that data cannot be deleted. These standards were, they said they need this. So I had a very few set of slides to present. So we are complying to all of those standards. So we don't keep code. Right now data will be visible as a normal shared data. But if you try to delete, it will not find. If you try to edit, it will not be able. You can make a copy of it. But you cannot touch the original for 5 years. It's readable. It's not visible to anyone. It is such a lock that you cannot delete the volume. Forget about the ACL. If I try to delete the volume, you cannot delete the volume. I cannot format the date group also. I cannot change the clock also, machine storage also. The standard is not very simple. Like somebody may think I'll change the clock 5 years forward and just move the data. You cannot change the clock also. Once you set this, like there is a compliance. When you set the compliance, it is very, very stringent. You cannot touch it. Not in the compliance mode, not even that. In the enterprise mode, it is huh? In compliance mode, nobody can touch it. In enterprise mode, you can. So it's a very simple, it's a very, very important call to be taken by the organization if they want to go to compliance mode.
But this is a two-way.
Right?
Every time depends on NetApp. For the next year.
Next.
Every time we depend on the
देखो data is always readable. Let's say you want to refresh after 5 days. Data is readable, you could migrate. You want to. It's a standard. Some other way might also be offering. We are offering in hybrid environment, on-premise as well as in the. That's the difference that we.
So,
Huh? Yeah, yes. Same capability that we will get offering in the on-premise.
so thank you, Ramani. These are exactly the meaningful conversations we have lined up for the day. And
So anti-ransomware, you should go through that. That's the latest thing. That's very useful. That's for active data which can actually be modified, and but you need to secure from unauthorized. Thank you.
so thank you so much for taking on the panel also soon, and I'm sure you all can have more questions there. So moving on to the next session, please, I would like to call upon Tanmay Dubey. He is the India storage lead for AWS. As part of the larger data and AI team at AWS, Tanmay is helping customers transform their cloud storage strategy and optimize solutions for data and AI by leveraging services like S3, Glacier, EFS, and Storage Gateway. He helps design scalable, cost-effective, and secure infrastructure for customers that drive efficiency and innovation across industries. And I'm sure we have many more questions for Tanmay. Over to you, Tanmay.
Thanks. I also didn't know that I'm doing so many things. So thanks for reminding me also. Hi guys. Good evening. My name is Tanmay Dubey. As you know, I lead the India storage business from a sales point of view. And let me begin with my talk by asking us a few questions. That how many of you know here present in this hall know exactly how much amount of data your organization is creating and what all can you do with this data? Because the topic is around data modernization. It's a pretty large topic, right? And I might not be able to do complete justice in another 10-15 minutes. But I just wanted to throw in some data points and some key facts before I really take you on and in my attempt to explain you what data modernization from our perspective is. But can I have a show of hands? How many people know the amount of data, or what can you exactly do with the amount of data that your teams or your organizations are generating? You have, right?
I know the data, but I don't know what
you can do. Right. So has anybody of you heard a term called data first world? Well, any guess what does mean a data first world is, right?
Two types of data. The structured data.
Right. We will get into that detailing, sir. So, data first world essentially means that data is not the byproduct anymore. That okay, my sales guy is creating some data in Excel sheet. My ERP has got which essentially is the structured data, right? So there's something called a semi-structured data also. It can be floating around on your emails or somewhere else in that. Now, in the data first world, we create products, services, or derive outcomes by putting data first, right? Using the data to derive those products, amazing products or services that you have to make. And if I have to talk to you, a company like Zomato today is generating, because they are our customers, they are generating roughly about 10 terabyte data daily. And a lot of their their products, their services are built around that. Okay, this set of customers who are residing here are eating these kind of food, and these are your preferences, and which is allowing to work backwards. And working backwards is one of our leadership principles at Amazon. That when you decide a goal, that this is where you need to go, how do you work backwards towards it? And if this is something that you want to build, be it an application or a service or a data lake, you need to look around and take into consideration the entire amount of data which is generated. Let's talk about Netflix, who are also our customers, right? Netflix today are approving the contents based on the individual preferences that me and you are showing. That okay, this customer, and they will show you the kind of in your dashboard, they will show you the kind of shows based on your preferences in terms of okay, this guy watches thriller, maybe he's doing that and kind of content in front of you. So which means that so to reach an outcome, there's a lot of data behind it. And talking about GenAI today, now this is the outcome that a lot of us are talking about. GenAI में क्या चल रहा है? कौन सा नया मॉडल आया है, right? what is Amazon Q doing? We created a lot of noise around when we launched another product called Nova, right? That's our model. There are 3 versions of Nova, and I'm not going to talk about the upper layer yet, right? Because till the time we don't talk about the infrastructure level behind, and we are not as organizations matured about doing something creating meaningful out of the infra behind, we will not be able to reach the top, right? Which is the top of the town, and hence this is what ideally your enterprise data world should look like, right? On your left hand side is what we call as data protection. On your left hand side is your data protection. You can have disaster recovery, backup solutions from AWS, and in the middle it can have your storage services. We talked beautifully about the FSx service that we have at NetApp. We've got another service called S3 EBS. So this is all you're saying is data in motion. And as business leaders, as CTOs, you need to realize that if you have to reach here, which is the visualization part and the outcome part, that okay, I need to derive a dashboard, I need to create a snapshot, or I need to create some logical conclusion from the amount of data which is flowing around. I need to fix up and work on these services. And at AWS, any guess how many services do we have at AWS? Any rough guess? More than 200 services. So obviously I'm not going to talk about all these services today, and maybe I'm around and we can discuss more in detail about these services. But let me talk about a very core essential service, which we call it as storage. Now, not very glamorous, been around for the industry a lot of time. So and if you got ever any chance to listen to an Amazonian, we generally share a peculiar thing about ourselves, and one of the peculiar things about me is I try and run a lot of marathons and do a lot of endurance stuff. I might not look like one, but what makes me do that is the heart, is the aerobic capacity of my heart, and that's what essentially this slide talks about. That if the storage piece is sorted, because you're bringing all the data in, right? Your structured data, unstructured data, you will clean this data, you will do a data messaging, and you will bring all this data into a storage bucket that can be FSx, that can be S3, and from there you will start creating those dashboards and apply those GenAI stuff like that. Now talking about storage, this is how the storage services is priced tier wise. Now I'm only showing you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 services. Any idea how many storage services do we have at AWS? In storage itself, we've got about 16 services, right? And this is based on the frequency at which you want to derive the data. The last one out there is called Glacier Deep Archive. It's for the data which you would not very frequently use, maybe once in 6 months, right? And the service which is here is called X3 Express One Zone, which is like instant retrieval. And I'll give you one example. How many of you, I don't know if you've heard about a company called Zeta, right? They are a fintech company, and in a fintech world, we've got something called the end of the day workload, which essentially means that at the end of the day, as per the industry standards, if you have to compile on the credit card statements what all transactions has happened, roughly people, the other companies were able to do it about 10,000 statements in about 2 days time. And Zeta, you can Google it, we've got a published case study with Zeta. They were able to publish 20 million, end of the day statements, credit card statements in 48 hours. So that's the kind of speed and performance which this service gives. How many of you are watching IPL on Hotstar? Almost all of us, right? That's again hosted on AWS, right? So that's the kind of performance which this storage gives. Talking about the big outcome, which is GenAI, where we want to give, and if your heart is sorted, which is storage, we've got 2 new services launched called S3 Tables. Now this is paramount if you're trying to work on or create an analytics service, because that's built on Apache it's a fully managed Apache Iceberg data, which essentially means that in the storage bucket, your data is stored in a tabular format, and hence it's easier for you to retrieve it or throw in a query. Another service which is called S3 metadata. Metadata is essentially data about data. And let's say if you have to if you have to throw in a query that what was my sale in October 2020 during, let's say, Diwali times, right? And hence it will be able to pick that data from unless it is the data is cleaned and stored in the right manner. That's the service which will help you do that. And we recently launched it, and we see great traction coming from a lot of customers who are trying to build analytics workload onto it. Just to talk about if you've got different kind of workloads, how can AWS different storage services help you do that? Got obviously we spoke about NetApp on that. If you've got a Windows application, and for HPC we've got something called FX6 last year. Maybe we'll talk about this particular service some other day. World would be completed unless I talk about the backup services. We've got backup services available at AWS, which kind of helps you give protection on your active data. We've got partnership with Veeam as well as Commvault. We have an active partnership with them also. They also provide a good data resiliency services. So now that I've covered about the whole data piece from a storage and a backup point of view, let's talk about the how part, right? How can AWS need to do to get to some of these services, right? यार ये जैसे हमारे है ना ये पेट्रोल का एवरेज कितना है, ये कितना है, right? It's like यार कॉस्ट कितना करता है, इसका दाम कितना है अगर मुझे मूव करना है. So how many of you here has heard about this program called Migration Acceleration Program? Awesome. Hitachi is one of our Migration Acceleration Program partners, which essentially means that if you are somebody who's looking to host from on-prem to cloud, or maybe create a secondary copy of your data or anything like that, how can AWS help you? We can actually help you do at no cost, right? I'll not get into the nitty-gritties of it, but this is a fully funded program by AWS for their customers with the help of our partners. That if you want to move to a cloud world, we sign a contract called MAP contract. It is for 3 years, 5 years, depending on how do we come and do the assessment. Our team they come and do the assessment part of it. How much time will it take for us to the mobilize part? We have got workshops aligned for you to train your people that this is how when you go to cloud, this is how you have to use, and then migrate and mobilize. So that's one of the best programs which by far I have seen in AWS. Which helps customers virtually to move their product virtually move their data from on-prem to off-prem. Now take a step back. That okay, fine. And then migration to बहुत बड़ी बात हो गई है. Maybe I want to do an assessment first, right? And let me assess that whatever workloads we got, does it make sense for even for me to go to cloud or not? So that's where one program called, how do you want me to pronounce? Ola or Ole? Because the program is pronounced as that's optimizing licensing agreements, nothing to do with the wonderful company Mr. Agrawal Saab is running. And what essentially this program does is optimizing licensing agreements. So whatever money you are spending on licensing on any of these wonderful companies that you are working with, we will come do an assessment. Again, fully funded by AWS. I don't want to use the word FREE here. Fully funded by us, via our partner, and do an assessment, fair assessment, and show you that okay, if you are spending X amount of dollars every year to do to buy these licenses, hypothetically, if you have to move on to cloud, what is the amount of saving? And more often than not, we figured out that about 25-30% is the saving that we get, is the kind of saving that we propose to our customers, and we're happy to share the names. So if you've done this or actually gone ahead and you leverage this program. Again, getting a little bit more deeper, this is one of probably my second last slide. Going deeper into this assessment, we've got different assessment tools, right from a tool from NetApp, which essentially comes as an agent and sit on your infra, and we do that. We've got different product called Data Sync Discovery. This is a product which will help you to actually do the data movement from one place to another. And migration evaluator. This is a tool which helps you evaluate and tell that okay, hypothetically you have to migrate. This is what you have to do. And we've got partnership with some third-party tools also, which you may prefer. Just a quick bit on different migration parameters. I spoke about the data sync part. AWS transfer family is again from a point to point to node kind of a transfer facility. If you've got a hybrid scenario where you've got one data set on-prem and another, you want to have a cloud setup where you want the cloud to access to the same data, you can use this feature called storage gateway. And the last is the Snow family, which is nothing but an array of hard disks, and if you've got a low network area and you want your data to move from one place to another, we've got solution to that as well. And obviously everything is, if you do it, we move to the outcome part that we spoke about on the GenAI part. So that pretty much sums up my my talk today. Call to action is, if in case you've not tasted cloud, let's start with the storage assessments, and that's pretty much from my side, and I will take 84. Thank you.
Any questions for that? It's very well articulated. Yes.
Yeah.
Quick question. You talk about app. Now, they have already moved to AWS. They already migrated.
Yeah.
But there are many services which you just talked about. We have no clue whatsoever about those services. Many of them are very decent.
Okay.
Is there any program which helps or enables organizations to undergo some kind of training and assessment?
Yes.
Only specifically targeting storage or other services?
Yes.
Not because they are already available, but I think they are not leveraging AWS.
Fully, yes. So we have something called immersion days, where we come and conduct a half-day, full-day workshop and let you know about the exact days which you can handle the services. Yeah, you can have
You had earlier more activities with AWS,
Yes.
but that's more towards optimizing architectural cost. But it's not about what different offerings can be alternatively used.
fair. So let's connect offline, and you send me your just drop me a mail and I'll get this question.
So, here was same data center on-prem data center. We are using some Microsoft licenses. We decided to move on-prem to on-cloud. Same license to the rate for the cloud or to purchase the new licenses.
So I think under Ola program, you will be able to use the same license. That's what
See, we've got something called a shared responsibility model in cloud, right? Where at AWS we take the responsibility of the cloud, right, and not what is in the cloud. So operating system, your middleware, your data, your application is yours, while the virtualization part and the other hardware part is ours. So you can use this your own same license.
Because otherwise,
Same license, how can we use two licenses?
उसका सर साइजिंग चाहिए तो हार्डवेयर में आप यूज करोगे वहाँ पे आई एम अज्यूमिंग दिस हाइपोथेटिकली इन इंटरेस्ट ऑफ टाइम नॉट टू गेट मच डिटेल्स इनटू इट लेट्स से राइट यू वुड बी डूइंग 2 4 4 व्हाटएवर 1.5 and I know that but the same sizing might not get the applied so we can look into your particular thing and we can get back. So again, that's what I'm saying. So we can have I can get the relevant folks talking to you. They can see everything. That's where the assessment plays the role.
Arranging some demos for the customers where you can see, I not interested you to come and connect to my system. I would like to have a quick demo. Maybe Amazon, anything, I don't know, but where we are actually seeing what we're talking about. The slides are all this beautiful. but when we see things happening there.
भूल जाते हैं
Should not be a problem.
मैं तो सुबह शाम
So we have some recorded demos as well.
स्टोर
So I think it's not published online as such. I think one or two you will see, but if you go to the Amazon Exhibition and on their web page, there is a section of the documentation of the resources. So there you will see us getting training guides.
Yes, some demos and maybe some case studies, right?
Yes,
Let's connect offline.
भाई जब आप नहीं एग्जाम पे लगाने गया हो मैं बैठ के नेटफ्लिक्स देख रहे
But that's the model how it is. If you go to any AWS service,
कहीं से लाइव पिक्चर चल रहा है
page, you will see a resource section. There is a
कहीं पे तो चढ़ा रखे हैं ना तो बहुत सारे चले यूट्यूब में इतना रेट आता है कि हर सेकंड
Because I'm hearing first time.
very interesting program हर मिनट में 500 घंटे हर मिनट 500 घंटे तो डेटा की साइजिंग इतनी अलग लेवल पे
Thank you so much, Tanmay. Moving on to the next section, and I'm very happy that we're using our time well today. So moving on to the next panel discussion, where we have some customer engagements and experts from AWS and NetApp joining us. So may I please call upon Mr. Deepak Bharadwaj, Associate Director at AWS, Sandeep Agarwal, Solutions Architect, SolarWinds, AWS India, and Mr. Ravi Sethi, NetApp. And I will be moderating the session because Sir, one of the executive editor of the database magazine. Thank you so much, sir.
डे टू डे काम में कोई लाइव डाटा यूज़ नहीं करते ना लेकिन मुझे कहते हैं कि एजुकेशन में भी हॉस्पिटल में भी जहाँ पर भी छोटा मोटा ERP है जहाँ पर भी जॉब में बोला 50 टेराबाइट डेटा आ गया जो आ ही जाएगा जरूरत पड़ती है कहीं लवली प्रोफेशनल यूनिवर्सिटी में 25,000 बच्चे पढ़ रहे हैं बच्चों का जो डेटाबेस होगा उनकी फीस लेनी है वो करना है उसी में डेटा चाहिए एक का बुढ़ेगा तो पता चलेगा कि इसने कितने में करेक्ट
The conversation without much delay. If I could just ask for a brief introduction, sir, from you, and I'm sure everybody knows most of them and you also, but just for the benefit of the last audience.
Right. I'm Deepak Bharadwaj, so this values managing global IT infrastructure very well.
और तो जाना पड़ेगा
I'm not asking for an introduction, but if I could ask.
Hello everyone. So I'm Sandeep Agarwal. I'm a storage specialist based out of Bangalore. It's been 3 years in AWS. Thank you.
So the idea here is to keep it really conversational. You all can please interact in between if need be, if there's a valid point being discussed or a query which comes up, and we will keep that going. So I'll just start with you. If I could ask you, how's the role of enterprise data infrastructure evolving in your industry, and what's the most pressing need today? Would it be modernization, security, or scalability?
So, if we talk about the evaluation, we started in 2000. So initially there was a term APU. So now we turned into the data company, analytics company in 2007. So we have got a humongous data footprint, almost 3-4 petabyte of data in active state. So data footprint is humongous, and more about the security part. So the governance to be focused on that, and we are leveraging the storage management load. So we have got global data centers, like we are operating from Romania, and Chile, and then China, and India. So we are managing all the data centers, and collaboratively we are using cloud as well. When we talk about the security, yes, manageability is essential for us. So like nowadays, if you look at the use case for the sales and the corporate and the operation teams, they are managing from the global locations. So handling the data and managing the data is quite challenging. So in some extent, on top of that, we talk about the security part that comes in the picture. So the complexity, if we look at the data manageability, the only thing which we see about the governance part.
Yes, sir. Because you rightly mentioned, so for you, I'm sure unified scalable data platform would be of high importance because you'll have global operations and the compliances from various regions coming in.
So best thing I see in this case, that is the policy and the privilege delegation part that can be quite easily be enforced. Right? You can manage on the single console.
So Sandeep, if Rajmat shared that. So what would be some real world examples, because we try to tell us on a regular basis, where Amazon FX or NetApp ONTAP has helped organizations modernize storage and achieve measurable business outcomes?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I think Amazon FSx for NetApp ONTAP has been there for almost 3 years now, and it's the fastest growing service within AWS. Right. So I think some of the very important use cases for the customers is, especially if they have a single data center at on-prem and they are looking to build a DR site, and the cost of building another site is humongous, right? So they feel that building a DR site in cloud using FSx or NetApp ONTAP is very important and significantly cost optimized. And as Rameek mentioned during his session, if you have a NetApp Snapper license within the ONTAP operating system, you can leverage that to build that. And similarly, storing the disk-based backups as well. So that is one of the primary area which I have seen customer doing it. And obviously, recently we also helped migrate one of the customer in a logistics business. Move across APJ, US and EMEA markets, their data center into AWS, and they migrated all their VDI users to AWS and all the shared storage into AWS as well. So this also, the VDI space has been growing within the US market as well, and now India market has a lot of customers who are on-prem and they need that kind of scalable storage as the user base is growing. That is another area which we have seen. And third one, if I may just quickly add up, is self-managed databases, right? All the customers are using self-managed databases, whether they're using Oracle or SQL databases, and they want to move as is, right? Sometimes customers do not want to use a service like RDS because it's a managed service. They want to have full control over their databases, how they manage EC2. So in their particular segment, FSx or NetApp ONTAP fits perfectly because it provides you that data platform layer, especially if they are also using it on-prem. So it gives you all the capabilities which Rameek talked about during his session. Those are very helpful for the customer. So these are the three primary areas which I have primarily tried to use.
Yes, because today's time we only don't see an exclusive only on cloud or only on-prem for the server environment. So now we're moving to you. What motivated the AWS NetApp partnership? And how does it benefit the long-term ONTAP users seeking cloud integration without this?
Yeah, I think I answered this earlier also, but let me say, we were following our customers. So we saw in 2010 or 11 that people were wanting to experiment with the cloud. We also started. We didn't look for NetApp. It was nothing but our applies like close to that. It was for NetApp. So we connected to the instance of and then we introduced a thing called CVO. So we were just simply calling our customer. They were planning to have on-premise as well as cloud. This was their using and for the cloud. So we are doing the same job. We have more than 500,000 business on the cloud. That's the era on the cloud services from NetApp. This is our business plan. This is every time.
So just moving on to again that you spoke about your global presence, and so you have distributed teams, hybrid work models. So what strategies do you follow to ensure secure and high performance data access globally? And if you have certain examples, certain journeys that you walked which you would like to share with the larger audience.
So dynamics changed during the COVID and pandemic. So earlier the business and the corporate functions they required used to work in the office culture. So now when we started hybrid mode, the expectations of the business teams now it is on the next day. Right? So we need accessibility, performance, everything. But on IT side, we just need to look at the compliance part. So, like, if we talk about the accessibility part, that is totally aligned with the compliance and our use case. So earlier we were dealing with the GDPR things. Now we need to look at another aspect of the GDPR.
So anything which you have across very
ये मैं सोच रहा हूँ कि
different
मतलब मेरे तो दिमाग के बाहर जा रहा है कि कितना डेटा होगा इस
but
वक्त
any
दुनिया में।
other interesting or
वहाँ चल
innovative
दी जाएगी।
approach that you see in the
तभी तो डेटा ही
where
फाइन
they
चीज़
could
होती
address
जाएगी
this kind of
आजकल।
challenge?
सिर्फ डेटा को छोड़ो
Just to add here,
मतलब नॉट दी
you asked about
कह
the
रहा था
management.
इसलिए यार
Yes.
स्टोरेज तो करनी
So,
पड़ेगी।
yes, so we totally rely on the dual factor authentication method. That is essential in the security perspective.
उस पर सोचो ना वो तो डेटा कितना कम जाना।
And what we do in general, because data is everything for us. So what kind of data we have, that is highly
वही बात है
confidential.
मेरी लेट्स से
That is specific
आपका
to
काम
the
पर उनके
investment.
वर्क जो आप करते होंगे
So
कि
we
अगर
rely
मैं
upon
अपने
the
ऑफिस से बैठ के
ELP,
ERP एक्सेस कर
the
रहा हूँ
governance part. So
तो
and
फट
for
से
ELP,
मेरा लैपटॉप तो
everyone
फास्ट है
must
हम
to,
बात कर रहे थे
if they are
लेकिन
using
पता
the
चला
data on-premise, or
इसकी
even on cloud.
बिजली क्वेरी अगर यहाँ से रन होनी है
It completely
तो
depends on the how
इस
the
डेटा बेस
security
से तो डेटा
posture
निकलना है।
in
2 मिनट
the
लग जाएगा
use.
ना
And that has to be very strict.
पब्लिक तो थक देगी लैपटॉप 2 मिनट लग
Yeah, so I think from a resilience point of
नहीं
view,
क्लाउड फ्लोट जो भी हो पीछे पीछे से
AWS
क्वेरी रन
is
हुई
very
मेरे तो
clear. So
सामने
most of the
रिजल्ट आ
storage
गया
services you see here,
तो मैं ERP
they
खोल
are
के देखता हूँ
either
मैं
single
जैसा
AZ
ऑटो
or
रन कर रहा हूँ
multi-AZ by design.
तो ऑटोमेट तो
So
फट
that
फट
is the
होना
first
चाहिए।
part of when anybody thinks about going to cloud. They want to service to be very resilient, right? So from that perspective, just to give an example, customers who are hosting a single data center service and on-prem, for them, single AZ is a like-for-like replacement, and they want to go with, start with single AZ service. But customers who are looking for more enterprise capabilities and more resilient architecture than multi-AZ is one capability which AWS has. This is from a more of a deployment point of view. But most of the on-tap features with respect to security, we almost have all the services available in AWS. So 3 weeks back, Rafiq mentioned about that ransomware protection feature that has been launched in FSx for NetApp on-tap as well. Right? So customer primarily using encryption, data at rest or data in transit using IPsec. And also if you are planning to migrate your data from on-prem to AWS cloud or FSx or NetApp on-tap, we have services, either we can use SnapMirror, or if you have any other challenges, for example, some of the customers, they don't have a SnapMirror license at their on-prem. So then we offer something like AWS Data Sync, right? So Data Sync can be used and it can encrypt the data, on transit while moving to cloud.
So, as you were rightly mentioning about FSx, I wanted to ask you this question that how do customers using NetApp on-premise benefit by migrating FSx on-tap, and what challenges does this solve around performance, scale, and TC? If you can share some.
Into on-premise to AWS, storage-wise, very, very similar. Like I said, it's very close to but when they use the same, they take the same data to the cloud, so the same on-tap. They get more of advanced features like fast services, which they want to run in the on-premise environment. So that is the biggest plus, especially the one customer I was referring to who took more of data
The
to the
government
cloud,
sector,
right?
yes.
So their requirements were very large.
Just for my knowledge,
There were days like their requirements were
managing all these
they were
things,
not able to manage that.
let's say when you were in Bali,
So they were running in a
what
GCP
percent
cloud,
of your
so they were
job?
unable to
10%,
scale
5%, 20%?
So that they could, so that elasticity that they could for the cloud. So they were getting the same goodness of 30% of the anti-ransomware as come.
उस दिन 1.5%
The richness
जिस दिन
like
कुछ डाउन
there.
पूरे दिन का है कि
So that richness they are getting, and in addition to that they are getting
वो
more
चीज़
of
ना
that.
हो उसकी प्रिवेंटिव एक्शन तो डेली
So, any challenges that you
वीकली
have faced and
उसको इंश्योर
you
करना
had
है आगे
you walked that
30%
journey,
टाइम
and
मिल
share
जाएगा
maybe some best practices
उसको बैकअप चेक करो फिर रेस्टोरेशन ठीक हो रहा है वो सारी चीज़ें पैरामीटर्स मेंटेन
So
करते
initial challenge was about performance. So it took some time to find to know.
साल का कितना खर्चा हुआ खाली
So
डेटा और मैनेजमेंट और
even
इंफ्रा
the
मैनेजमेंट
skill set, I say that is quite similar to because we are using the same kind of set on-premise system with the cloud. So the biggest challenge which we have seen that about the performance part, it took some time initially, but
so would you like to add something from the solution provider, like how would that support that you could
लाइसेंस तो हो गया सॉफ्टवेयर
Yeah, so generally, if the
ये जो
customer
काम है
already
वैसे
have
ये
NetApp
ले लीजिए, ये भी क्या
on-prem,
खर्चे
so
हुए
their
थे
team is already
ये
trained on
मान लो
that.
तो
So FSx
देखो दो
NetApp
चीज़ों में
on-prem
डिवाइड
uses
होता है
on-prem
केपेक्स
operating system in the
और
backend. So that is,
केपेक्स
so this request comes generally from customers who are not using
50
NetApp
करोड़ का
on-prem, or
कभी
let's say
30
they are
करोड़ से
using some
50
other
करोड़
third-party systems that on-prem to store
OPEX
the
का
data.
मॉडल
So there we have
है
something called immersion days. So immersion days are like a hands-on workshop we host for the customer. It can be a half day or a full day workshop. We have some fixed agenda there, and we include the key component based on the customer needs. And then we go to the customer side, and train their engineers, host that workshop so that they can do hands-on, trainings using that workshop as well. And beyond that, if any deep dive training is required, I think NetApp and AWS will both collaborate. We are always there for the customer. We jointly go to the customer side and host, level 3 and level 4 level training as well, if there is a requirement beyond those immersion days. So immersion days is very common in AWS. We have immersion days for almost all the services, if I'm not wrong. But storage services, almost all services we have immersion days. If you have any requirement, whether it's for FSx or NetApp on-tap or any other service, because there could be different aspects. It could be performance, it could be security, it could be manageability, it could be cost optimization. So we have immersion days to cover all the aspects of the solution.
So, I'm done with my round of questions here, so maybe you could open the floor for questions from the audience, if you would like to ask anything to our esteemed panelists.
कि नॉर्मली जो बंदा 100 करोड़ रुपये खर्च कर रहा है वो 2-3 साल में बना ही लेगा
Could we have the mic, please?
और सोचो मतलब ना आई यूज्ड टू मीट जैसे आई मीट एनी काइंड ऑफ पीपल और ये जो होता है ना वो IT इंफ्रा
Thank you for this detailed conversation. A quick question about the performance management, because when things move to cloud, that's the biggest challenge. On-prem access is available, like you want to access the application data very quickly. But when we move, and this is what we face with the customers, when they move to cloud, their experience is not same. While they expect the same kind of experience. So what is probably you can give us some insight what as a cloud provider AWS is doing to enhance this experience for the customer. That's the field experience I'm sharing. And
गूगल भी सर्विस देती है
maybe we go with this question.
गूगल ने मुझसे छोड़ रखा
Yeah, sure.
Gmail भी बेच ले,
That's a good question
YouTube भी दिखा दे ये काम भी करती है
And
गूगल
observation is very correct, right? So customers, when they come to cloud, they expect the same performance, right? But what our experience working with customer has been that, there is always some tweak of the environment required, right? And it always helps with all the, it always it's done with all the measures. So customer, when they ask us that, okay, so we are using, for example, NetApp on-prem, we want to move for FSx on NetApp on-prem. Now, first they have to understand the architecture of the service, how it works, right? Because it is entirely, the platform of the service which we are offering, and it's entirely managed by us. For you, it is just the service and you use it. So we recommend to do a POC with the customer, because every customer requirement is different. And if you ask any AWS employee, right, the first thing for any service we say is let's do a POC to validate the use case which you may have, and whether what kind of configuration will be right, whether single AZ would work or a multi-AZ is required, what kind of throughput is required. So sometimes, a lot of time customer, let's say I went to a customer and I asked, okay, can you tell me the baseline throughput of your workload? Now, to many of these questions, we don't have the straight answers, right? So customers say, oh, I don't know how much throughput my workload require, or how much, because customer may have, for this PDI workload which I was talking, so customer was not aware, but he had one particular volume where he was doing the right throughput of almost 2 petabyte per second, right? And he was not aware. And when we launched the service, because for that customer said, I don't want to do a POC, let's quickly go. And it didn't work out. We had challenges, and then we understood the pattern and worked with the customer, told him, okay, this particular volume is very, very unique, where you need 2 gigabyte per second throughput, while rest of the all combining were not going even beyond 500 megabyte per second. So it all going about like tweaking and changing those configurations, and as you rightly mentioned, experience can be different. We have to understand and do a POC. That's why coming to cloud, we always tell the customer, let's do a quick POC to understand whether the things are working. Because sometimes main FSx NetApp contact may not be the right solution, right, after working out. So we have different services where we help and work with the customer.
Thanks, Sandeep. Next question is maybe coming to you and to AWS also. When you present this whole concept of data sync and snapshot, it looks like it's a lift and shift, right? You pick up the data from on-prem and put it on the cloud. Very easy to explain in the presentation. But as a customer, how much efforts or education I need to have for us to move from on-prem to cloud?
Yeah, so one thing is for sure, like if you want moving the data from on-premise to the cloud, there has to be a good network, right? So depending on the data volume and the time we have for it. Network is one thing. Second, firewall rules and third, the challenge that we observed with these customers, they were running in a GCP environment, and the service provider was not willing to open the firewall initially. So then eventually we got the, that's why we were not using Snapper in the building. Snapper, just personally, it is as simple as replicating data from one data to another. We are replicating from on-premise to the AWS. We have a government account which is using AWS as a DR to cloud kind of replication. So they have one data center in Lucknow, and their DR is S3. So they just replicate it to rest region of AWS. It's very simple. But these base things are required, just like you are setting up application from one side to another side. Like, if the control is with somebody else, if it is not under your control, then you may have to just give them the required, reasons why you need to open the ports to replicate. So that's what is required.
Yeah, so if I may add, see, migration requires a lot of efforts, right? So it's not easy, any kind of migration, right? So if a migration is required, and what Ramdeep mentioned, and in addition to that, we need to understand sometimes, what is the timeline customer is looking for, right? Because some customers say, oh, timeline is not important for me, cost is important, right? So lower cost, longer timeline, right? So we can appropriately choose the mechanism how to migrate the data. And some customers like, no, I want to do it in 15 days. So for one of the customers, let's say in media and entertainment, he said, I want to move this data in 15 days. And I don't want to pay the migration cost. You pay the migration cost, right? So what we did was we come up with a custom solution, right? So we AWS essays, we work internally and collaborate and try to find some innovative way. How can we, so there is the standard way of data sync for Snapper, right? Now, if someone, so this is more about S3 service customer was using, and customer say, I want to move data to S3, now tell us a solution. So we created a custom solution which was almost lower cost than what data sync would cost. But yes, to answer your questions, number of files may matter, number of folders may matter. So one customer was having one folder, all the files in that, right? Millions and billions of files. Now imagine a single folder, it is so difficult to pull the data and you are accessing it also. So migration, what time it will happen, right? We cannot migrate all the time because the production will get impacted. Right? So all those things, we do a proper planning with the customers. We have professional services within AWS. If customer do not want to go with professional services, then we as a SA, we help customer design the strategy. Obviously, we don't execute it, but we help train their engineers to do that migration, because migration is very, very important aspect. And how to reduce the cost, right? So the migration we did for this logistic customer as well. We make customer understand how to use, for example, the tiering policy. right? When you first migrate, what tiering policy you should keep. Now, after the migration is complete, what tiering policy you should convert it. So all these aspects come into picture, and migration is a big scope.
Migration is not a standard answer, it's always a subjective answer.
So it's not so easy as it looks.
No. There are different methods.
Of course.
Only thing is which method we use
And customize it to your requirement.
requirement
Yes.
to another.
Absolutely. So just in interest of time, maybe we could take one last question, and then of course all the speakers are available offline. Any last question for the day? Great. So I think everybody's eager to take a break to the bar now. So thank you so much, the esteemed speakers, for your valuable insight, especially Sir Bhardwaj, because Value Sir has been doing great stuff, and it was great to hear from you. Thank you, Ravi. Thank you, Sandeep, for the great insights, and thank you everybody in the audience for joining us, taking time out on a Wednesday evening from your busy schedules, and making this evening very beautiful and the great conversations and insights that you have also shared. Thank you so much.